In this video, I'm going to show you one way in which you can add your brand to your videos. And this is going to be using a watermark, or a bug as some folks call it. One thing you want to consider in creating your watermark from the get-go is the background. The majority of the video is what color, because that will have some bearing on just how visible your watermark image is going to be, because that, by the way, is what a watermark is, or at least is what I'm going to be showing you here. It's an image. So if the video you're going to be putting this on is, like, say, for example, a PowerPoint slide setup, and the predominant color of those slides is white with black text, pretty popular. Well, if you make your watermark image white, then it's going to be invisible. So, you're wasting a lot of time there. So you want to have that in consideration whenever you are creating your watermark. So that being said, the video I'm going to be using in this example has a predominantly blue background. Yeah, some parts of it might be white, some parts of it might be black, but most of it's going to be blue. So we're going to create this as a white image, and we do that first off by going to File, come up to New, and by the way, if you haven't guessed, I'm using Photoshop to do this, and you don't have to use Photoshop. There are plenty of efficiency, as far as image editing software you can use, and these are just dimensions that I'm using here. The main thing, that being 450 pixels wide, 100 pixels high, and the main thing you want to keep in mind here is the background. You want it to be transparent opposed to white or the background color. So keep it with transparent. RGB color is cool, and the resolution, you want to keep this. 72 is fine and dandy. You definitely do not need anything more than 72. That's simply overkill. So we're going to go with this, click on OK, and here is our palette to work with. Now then, myself, I want to have a colored background here just for the creation process. I'm going to get rid of the background before we render this, or before we save this image. So I want to add another layer here, and I'm going to make this black, basically so I can see what's going on. And I want to bring this guy down here. My video is slowing things down here as far as the resources. Okay, now then, I want to add some text here. And again, the text, or what you add here as your logo or your watermark, is totally up to you. You want to do some planning on this naturally. Why are you doing the watermark? Is it to advertise your site? Is it to maybe keep the thieves away, kind of like in the old days? I guess they still do it too, where they brand the cattle to hopefully thwart the cattle rustlers from stealing your stuff, because they know that the lawman is going to be able to see the brand on the back side of that cow. So again, why are you creating the watermark? Sorry about the imagery there, but why are you creating the watermark? Is it to advertise your website? Is it to protect the copyright, so to speak, of your video? That would be another thing you want to keep in mind. So if you're going to have an image logo here, or just a text of your website URL, totally up to you, but one of the things you want to keep in mind while you're creating your image, your watermark. So I'm going to use a white background, or white text, because I want that to show up on the blue background of the video. Again, if it's a white background on your video, you probably don't want to go with white as your text color. And choose the font style, the font size, and this looks fine and dandy to me. I'll knock that down just a hair so it doesn't stand out. And I'm going to now crop it. I want to appear to my cropping tool, because I don't need all this wasted space. And here we are, crop, and this is going to be my watermark. And get rid of that. Now then, this is another important thing. In addition to making sure you got a transparent background, you want to save this as a PNG. Because if you save it as a JPEG or a JPG or a bitmap, whatever, it may not maintain the transparent background. It may just automatically slap in a white background there. So you don't want that. And we want to go with Save As. And I'm going to save this on my desktop. I'm going to give it a name, something witty like Watermark. Hey, looks like I've done this before. And since I've already done this before, and there is already one there, I'm going to just overwrite this. Yes, I want to overwrite it. and then that pops up. I want to open up my video editing software, and in this case it's going to be Camtasia Studio. This is version 6.0.3, and I'm using this versus the latest version, which is 7.1 at the time of this recording, because this sucks up less resources while I'm recording this video, so less of a chance of it crashing on me as I'm doing this. So anyway, so now what I did, I went ahead and clicked on the import media, brought in the video I want to add the watermark to, and as you can see it's a rather dark background, so the white image of my watermark will stand out. And then I imported this video from the clip bin into the timeline. You can do that by just left click, hold and drag on down, or right click and then left click on added timeline. Now usually whenever you do this, a box is going to pop up here asking you for your video project settings. It'll look something similar to this, and you want to choose, ideally you want to have in mind what your end result is going to be. What are you going to produce this as? Are you going to produce it as an MP4 with these dimensions, or are you going to produce it as an FLV with widescreen 1280 by 720 dimensions? You want to have those settings in mind whenever you answer these questions here, because for optimum results and your end result, you want to have your produced settings to be the same as your project settings. So I'm going to go with custom. Normally I would use one of my other presets in here that I've created, but for the sake of this video and showing you how to add the watermark, I'm going to go with custom. And these are the basic settings of this existing video. So to avoid having the black bars on either side, I'm going to stick with the settings of this video, 640 by 480. Click on OK and do our editing of the video, blah, blah, blah. Now we want to produce the video as, we want to use the same settings as our original project settings. Click on Next, MP4, click on Next, and a lot of this stuff is already set, and I'm not going to go into great detail on this, so just bear with me. Express Show looks cool, Flash Options, I'm going to go with Video MP4, Quality opposed to Bitrate. All these numbers here are fine and dandy for me. Background black is fine. And audio, normally I would go with 96 kbps. It's a better quality, but you're also looking at a bigger file size. 56 is the minimum that I would go, but again, that's totally up to you. Experiment with these numbers as much as you want, but that's what I'm going to go with for the sake of this video because it renders a lot quicker than the 96. And then OK, want to go to Next. Oh, and the size here, it says 640 by 498 because it's the 640 by 480, then it adds the additional 19 pixels for the player height here. And if you're going to go with no player, then you can just go with the 640 by 480. Anyway, so we're on to Next. Now here I'm going to go with the HTML embedding for the product, but that's fine and dandy. If this just depends on how you're going to be playing the video. And we're going to go with this, check this, so we can have the watermark included. We go to Options. This is the preview of that. Go to Options, and here you want to navigate to the location where you saved your created watermark, and we've already got that imported here. Now with this being imported, again you want to have in mind the reasons behind why are you watermarking this. If it's for branding purposes, as far as identifying it because somebody steals your videos all the time and you want to be able to send the law after them, well, good luck with that. But if that's your reasoning, then you want to have this kind of less apparent. If you're doing this, in contrast to that, if you're doing this to promote your website, then you want to have this more noticeable. In other words, a higher number for the opacity. Basically, this is 100% visible. Opacity, look at this as being transparent. This is totally transparent. As you can see, it's invisible. Myself, I usually go in the 20 percentile range because I want my watermark to be there as an advertisement of sorts, but at the same time I don't want it to slap the viewers in the face saying, hey, look at me, look at me. I do not want it to be taking away from the content, the video itself. That just keeps your viewers that much happier. Then you've got your adjustments here where you can show where you want that to be, and then over here where you can fine tune it even more as far as in relationship to where you chose here. You can have the horizontal offset, that's the left and right. For example here, you can see like thus. We'll go with the center, and I'm going to knock it down just a little bit closer to the bottom. Click on OK, and that's it. Now then you go to next, give it a name, and where you want it to be stashed at, where you're going to save it to, and then click on finish. And that's basically it. Well, let's go through the process here. Let's go through, give it a quick name of test, and have it saved to the desktop, and have it put in its own little folder, and then click on finish. And through the magic of video, this will be done here in just a second. And we're almost done. And now we are done. And we can close this out here. Let's bring my folder into view, open it up. And as you can see by me checking that box, it says HTML. It adds all these other ones in here, these other files. Otherwise, we would have just had the MP4 file right here. So again, depending upon how you're going to have this played, you may only need this file, and you may want these other ones too to be able to show it in your browser. So let's go ahead and open this guy up in our browser. And I'll click on the play, and there you see it right there is our watermark. So how cool is that? I mean, you now have the ability to add your own brand, or your watermark rather, to all the videos that you have access to the source files to. Now there are plenty of other ways in which you can brand your videos. This is just one of them. So that's basically it. There's plenty of other ways out there, but this particular video is just on how to add your watermark to your video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. You have a great day.